Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Good Roads Podcast and welcome back to your bulletin breakdown for April 20th, 2026. It is a beautiful day here in Brantford, in my home. It is spring. The winter is gone right behind us. Let's talk to our two contributors and see how the warm weather is treating them. I know you're both cyclists. Are you guys out on the bikes yet?
That's a really good question, Jared. I've been meaning to go down and look at those tires, fill them up. It's been a little rainy, though. It's like Thomas and I were having this conversation. We are cyclists, but we are fair weather cyclists.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't have the wardrobe for rain cycling.
Yeah, I feel like every day that it's warm, there's either been a chance of rain, and it's like it has rained, or it's been very windy. Or you know what I mean? So I'm still kind of waiting for that kind of perfect, first, ride for the year. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think I might take. Let me just double check the forecast here. I was thinking of getting on the bike today and seeing a movie because it's going to be a little nice. So 15 degrees.
13 degrees today or something.
Yeah, 15 degrees. If there's no rain in the evening, then maybe that's the day.
Summer's looking good for movies, and you know what they say: April showers and May flowers and all that stuff, and birds and bees, and who knows. Anyway,
that's a whole other conversation. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I might have misunderstood that conversation when my parents were giving it to me. Anyway, let's move on. Everybody knows how this goes. I should introduce our two contributors, Thomas Barakat and Andrew Blackburn, drinking his water right now. We're going to get into it. You know how this is done. We have 3 topics. We give them 5 minutes each. They unpack and discuss and sometimes debate these issues a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but we can forgive them for that. So, gentlemen, if you're ready, we can get started on the first topic. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, terrific. This week's, you're going to say something, Andrew? You good?
Nope.
All right. This week's
first. So excited, I was just going to launch right into it.
I know this one's going to excite you, Andrew. For our first topic, we're talking Waymo weighing testing on Toronto's roads, and let's get started on this, gentlemen. I got 5 minutes on the clock. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right. So, like as Jared said, Waymo is in talks. Well, they've been speaking to people in Ontario, at the city and at the province, and they have indicated that they're going to be applying for Ontario's automated vehicle pilot program. It's kind of funny. This is called a pilot program, but it's been around since 2016. So we're getting on 10 years of the pilot program. There's been a couple of smaller companies doing testing on Ontario's roads, but Waymo would be the first big player to enter into the scene. So I guess we'll see how this plays out. Ontario's pilot program, it's only for testing, so we're definitely many years off from, well, maybe not many, but maybe many years off from actual Waymo running a service on the road. So this is only for testing. They're not allowed to, pick up commercial passengers in a testing environment. They might have people in the car for testing purposes, but within Ontario's framework, they're they're pretty restricted with what they're allowed to do. I think in 2016 when they introduced it, they even had to introduce what streets they were going to be going on and what stuff. They have to present a big safety plan, and they need to show that somebody, especially so in 2019 they changed it so you can operate without a driver in the vehicle, which is Waymo doesn't have any steering wheels or anything like that. It's just like an open car. So they need to demonstrate that someone can stop this vehicle if necessary. And if people don't know how this works, I'll get into it a little bit, because it kind of works like a call center, actually, because it's not like in The Dark Knight. In The Dark Knight where Batman is watching everybody, he's surveilling everybody, and you think oh, he's going to zoom in on this car. That's not how it works. These cars are all pretty much operating independently, and when they come up to some trouble, that's when they connect to an operator, and an operator will connect, assess the situation, and advise the car to stop.
Does the car connect automatically, or does the passenger have to push a help button?
No, the car, it's the software will only call in when like it's confused, it's uncertain. Usually this is like something it can't identify, or a camera fault or something like that. This is where the technology sort of reaches its limits. Like if there's bad weather, it might call in, and then it needs that extra help. And then the operator,
or if the door stays open.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, the operator doesn't control anything in the vehicle. We don't actually have that technology. Like he cannot remote. Nobody.
Like it's not like there's a joystick or something.
There's
and he's
no remote driving capability with the technology by any company. I know Tesla and all these companies are working on it, but there's very, very limited access for this. All it does is advise the software to be like, I think you should stop, and the software will be like, or like, hold. It's a limited amount of instructions that it can actually direct to the software.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is like, we have to kind of balance all these considerations with not falling behind. Like if this is the way of the future.
Yeah. Well, and that was the objective.
Is this something we have to just do? Like if the U.S. cities are doing it, I heard they're expanding to London, to Japan.
Yeah. There are 10 cities in the States, and this was the entire objective behind the pilot program in the first place. Like Ontario was the first in Canada to allow testing of vehicles, and I think only Quebec is the only other province that has even added any sort of regulatory framework in the rest of the country. The rest is all just sort of ad hoc. So it's like that's why like Waymo is targeting Toronto to do their testing. And I know the mayor and the premier are worried about gig workers. 10 years ago, we did not have so many people that were completely dependent on the gig economy. So there is a real effect, but it's like there's steps. They're going to be doing testing, and then in order for them to actually operate, they will need some regulatory changes.
Fair enough.
They can't just operate.
Yeah, and I think the Ontario approach has been pretty good. It's been very cautious, which I think is good. It's kind of allowed the technology to move forward without trying too hard to just get them to come and test it out here prematurely. Let's let the U.S. make all the mistakes, and then our roads hopefully can benefit from this.
Which is why they've been roughly operating in like very open regulatory environments, like Wild West areas. Like
like I said, let them make the mistakes. Let the cars hit people there. Hopefully, by the time it really becomes prominent here, it will have, it's mature enough.
Yeah.
All right. It's our time, boys. There was a lot of fire in that one, and a lot of interesting topics. And we had Missy Cummings at the conference discussing automated vehicles as well. I didn't get into that room. Did she have any comments on something like this coming to Canada or in general?
I mean, I don't recall, Jared, because Andrew and I were also barely in the room, unfortunately.
We
were running around in the background.
Week. Yeah, exactly. We're running the show, so it's hard to stop and listen. But
I'm looking forward to watching the recordings though once we get them.
Right, we'll be getting those soon. Maybe we'll put out the Missy Cummings one on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Stay tuned for that. So we'll put that one to bed for right now, and let's roll on to the next one. Buy Ontario rules finalized. We got 5 minutes back on the clock, gentlemen, and we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so I'll get the ball rolling on this one. Thanks, Jared. So a lot of our listeners will remember that a couple months ago we talked about the province kind of introducing a Buy Ontario framework. So actually, even going back further, they passed a law late last year. They put out a regulation for consultation earlier this year. We talked about this on the pod. And we had submitted some feedback and some recommendations on where we thought that the province should kind of maybe make some improvements or some adjustments that kind of better reflect the reality of municipalities and then what they'll have to kind of do to go through this. So they, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was actually while we were at the conference, the province, the Ministry of, oh God, I always forget the name, MPBS.
Public business delivery.
Business delivery? Yeah. They released the Ministry of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement. MPBSDP. It just rolls off the tongue. So basically, they put out the final directives that municipalities will now have to follow. One of them actually is already in effect. I believe it began on April 13th, so just a couple of days ago. That's the Fleet Vehicle Procurement Directive, and then the second one, which is the Capital Infrastructure Procurement Directive, that one comes into effect for municipalities on May 15th. So just about a month from now, actually. So some of the concerns, I'd say, were reflected. Some of the others, not as much. Overall, I would say that the biggest shift is that municipalities now really kind of have to document when something, like administratively, something is not operationally feasible, especially when it comes, I think, to the vehicle procurement. The other big part of it is that there is going to be a 25% value for money exemption. That's on the construction directive, not the vehicle one. So basically, anything above that cost increase, you can justify going outside of Ontario, but below that 25% threshold, you have to do your best, or not even you have to do it. Basically, that's kind of, so it does allow for some flexibility. 25% is a pretty, that's a quarter percent. That's a pretty decent, amount. But again, the onus is a lot of the onus here is actually, that's not true. I would say this: when the municipalities actually have to, when they go to source a project, they have to ask their suppliers to come up with a domestic supply chain kind of plan to prove that what they're procuring is actually coming from Ontario or from Canada. So that's kind of something that we had been worried about in the past, was that our municipalities going to have to prove that. And thankfully they don't. I do feel bad for some of these vendors. Now they're going to have to kind of prove it. But I mean, that is kind of part of their work anyways, because they're the ones who are kind of sourcing this.
And I feel like that's going to be something where it's just like, there's going to be some hiccups as these vendors adjust, and then it'll just be part of the process, and it'll be streamlined. So hopefully this is something that gets easier in the near term, as everybody gets on board with this.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, because this kind of came out, and I'll say we kind of said that this came out a bit quietly. We didn't see any like news release or anything on this, so this is kind of why we want to talk about it on the podcast. We're also gonna post an update on our website. It's gonna link to the two directives, and I encourage everyone to read it. I would have went through it now, but it would be a very dry kind of. It's not really podcast worthy. We just kind of went over the highlights here. But basically, we're going to post it on the website. We're going to post the directives. There's also some training that the ministry is putting on. You can register to attend those training sessions, and they are limited in terms of the number of people that can attend. So I encourage all of our members or all of our listeners to go and kind of get in that early.
Yeah, I think right now there's 4 sessions all in the first half of May. So there's a few different options. So yeah, we'll have a link in the GRB to the website.
Yeah, or we'll link to our website, which will link to the Supply Ontario website, which will have a link to the training.
It's down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and I encourage everyone to read it. And we do. If you have any, if anything comes up and you have any stories you want to share with us about it that we can kind of shine some light on, definitely we're all kind of ears here. We hope this does work out.
All right, that's terrific, boys. We're wrapping up right on time today. Let's see if we can do this for.
Gotta be disciplined, Jared.
Yeah. We gotta be disciplined.
If you want me and start talking about administrative burden and stuff like that, but
administrative burden does definitely weigh on my shoulders. But something else that's weighing heavily on something is our next topic. SUVs are weighing heavily on roads.
Nice
so, gentlemen, there you go. Nice segue, right? I love that. Okay, we got 5 minutes on the clock, and we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right. So this one, I think this is a story that's probably not going to come to a huge surprise to a lot of our listeners. There's a new study out of the UK that is, probably confirming some obvious thoughts. So the the increased prevalence of SUVs on the road is damaging roads and making potholes worse. So yeah, more people are driving heavier vehicles on roads that simply weren't designed to handle that kind of weight. So SUVs can exert 5 times more force on the road than the average sedan. Now, the funny thing is like this part of this study, the qualitative side of this research, it finds that a lot of people are buying the SUVs because the roads are bad.
Hmm.
And they're making the roads worse. And it's like there's like this is adding up to like of the people who I'll mention this is out of the UK. So of the people in the UK who are like buying SUVs, like part of the like reasoning for hundreds of thousands of these purchasers is that the roads are bad and they need a bigger car to feel safer. And this percentage compounds even higher if like the drivers have had damage from potholes in the past. They're more encouraged.
I gotta say, it's I'm not gonna lie. Like I read this and I was kind of like, I've never once thought that, oh, this potholes, I should have a bigger car. I know that's the argument for like, there's other bigger cars and I feel safer when my car is bigger. And there's almost like this arms race. But just me personally, I've never once thought to myself, oh, you know what? There's potholes. I should get a bigger car. I don't know.
It's wacky. But that's one of the reasons why people are buying their cars. So it's just like among the myriad is like people are buying a car because bigger car because everybody else is bigger. Part of it is because they think it's safer, and the other part is that they don't have a lot of choice.
Right. Now, I just want to point out, Andrew, that one of the biggest offenders of this is actually Jared. He bought an F-150 Lightning. So it's got the height of a pickup combined with, the weight of a pickup plus the weight of an electric vehicle. Yeah. So, Jared, are you going to apologize to our listeners and to our members for this reckless purchase?
Should Jared be paying higher taxes on his heavy vehicle for damaging municipal roads?
And that's the policy discussion we need to have.
Are next to nothing. You two, what did Greta Thunberg say? Shame on you for damaging my future.
Yeah, and that is the trend in London. London is looking at charging extra fees for SUV users for the extra danger that they pose to pedestrians and how much space they require. And I think they're doing this in Paris as well, or maybe it was Italy. Somewhere in Europe, they were definitely doing it because like people are buying SUVs and they're just taking up too much space in the downtown core.
Yeah, no, I think Paris was doing that. Yeah,
they're taking up too much space.
Montreal was talking about doing that at one point, I believe. I don't know if it actually they followed through with it.
Okay, yeah. So there is policy precedent for it out there, and it's just like this is, and as I touched upon, this is like in Canada, about 88% of the new vehicles sold last year were SUVs, pickups, or minivans. They're all big cars, so that's increasing the total percentage every single year, and I think we're up to about 40% of all the vehicles on the road right now. So it just like keeps on compounding. And I'll just like throw an extra mention. It's like for readers of the Good Roads Bulletin, we've started adding some other links down at the bottom. If you're not scrolling down, we've got some stories that we are also reading, but we didn't discuss on the podcast this week. 2 of the stories are kind of relevant to the stories we're talking about. The first one is a long read from Time about like the approach that automated vehicle companies should be taking with their cities, and the cities and the companies. The gist of that, cities and these companies should be talking really, really closely. But the next one down is from the New York Times. They did another deep dive on like where are the small cars going. So it's just like most of these companies are making SUVs exclusively, and the sedans are.
Andrew, I think anyone that attended our conference last year would have heard David Zipper speak about this. He talked about car blow, and he basically said Detroit has really got out of the game of making sedans. And they're very much focusing on SUVs and pickups.
And even like the small cars have gotten bigger. It's like that New York Times takes a look at the Honda Civic. So the Honda Civic back in the 70s when they introduced it was a cheap car. It was small, and it's just that car has gotten bigger and longer and more expensive, and it's just not within that framework anymore.
Maybe a weird implication, maybe somehow silver lining of this conflict in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Gas prices went up big time. Maybe people will start thinking to themselves, you know what? I want a car that doesn't guzzle as much gas. Maybe I'll go for a small sedan.
We got 39,000 cheap Chinese cars coming, and I mean, that's not going to be enough to really. I feel like that's not going to be enough to fill the demand for affordable cars that we have.
All right.
Yeah, because we got to get more small cars on the road, fewer SUVs, less cars total. But
and with that, we're going to end it.
Can I just make one more quick point, Jared? The one thing I'll say is, for municipalities, if we know that heavier cars are contributing to poorer roads, more potholes, that sort of stuff, should municipalities be trying to have fleets with smaller vehicles and not go for an SUV or a pickup where possible? I know for some, responsibilities, for some tasks, they need to have bigger, cars, vehicles. But that's just something, food for thought. Are you making your own roads worse by having heavier vehicles?
Yeah.
All right. Let's. But before we actually end that, I'm feeling personally attacked here. I drive a Chevy Bolt.
Jared.
I drive a Chevy Bolt, and if you average out the two car sizes, I'm driving two mid-sized sedans.
Yeah.
There are smaller cars out there. There are electric cars, but I want to ask, since this is coming up, just to the both of you. Electric cars are a little bit heavier than regular cars, so
that is part of the equation for sure. Yeah, no, they are part of the equation, and they were part of that study. Where it's just like the SUVs are like such a huge portion of it, and I think our EV totals in Canada, I think we're only got between 5 and 10% of the total population. So that will go up, and that will have a toll on our roads as well.
For sure.
So the question is too, if EV reliance is going up or purchasing is going up, should we be reinforcing our roads more?
That's an engineering question.
Well, I don't know
that
about
is
that,
an engineering question.
You will know, like in the past, and I would say, because now it's a lot of governments have been cutting it, especially the province, but the gas tax was meant to kind of offset the the wear and tear that vehicles have on a road by giving municipalities more money to maintain them. Now, when you have an electric vehicle, they're not paying gas tax, right? You don't pay gas tax. So the question is, and I know, and this is a whole other conversation, but it's how do we fund the maintenance of our roads when we have a bigger shift towards zero emission vehicles? And we know that in other places they've already experimented with other sorts of
Well, it's kind of weird that a lot of this stuff is like a lot of these gas taxes are going down across the world, and a lot of different jurisdictions are looking at taxing heavier vehicles differently. And it's kind of funny that it's like ideologically this actually goes in different directions, because in the States they're as part of the culture war, they're anti EVs and they want to tax EVs more, but it's sort of like they're working that into like these gas tax evaluations, like how do we recoup the loss of the revenues from that. So it's kind of interesting where volatile times affect how this will end up playing out.
I'm pretty sure Australia was looking at like a per kilometer tax on EVs too to recoup some of that when you redo your license. So I mean, there are options out there, and I mean, I'm okay with paying my fair share to keep these roads fixed. We just got to make sure they're up to standard for the new heavier vehicles that people eventually will be driving.
Yeah. And, if we up the taxes, hopefully people are finding ways to drive less. Like we were talking about with the gas prices. It's like if prices are going up, we need to be building in extra services such as public transit. And
that's the only way you're going to be able to drive less. Yeah,
exactly. That is the key to getting cars off the road, is by boosting public transit.
I'm surprised people aren't trying to find other ways to get around with how high gas prices are now. It seems traffic has not changed at all.
Well, people are forced because it's the way we design. This is a whole other conversation, but this is the way we design our towns, our cities. Everything is like it's really hard to not drive. You have to go out of your way to not drive.
Right. Yeah. All right. That'll be another topic for another podcast. But let's move on to the something fun. Thomas has something fun in his back pocket. He's going to spring it on us. Let's hear it, Mr. Thomas.
Okay. So something fun. Okay. So earlier this week, the Premier announced that we will be able to consume alcohol in provincial parks. So my question to you, gentlemen, today is A, does this make you want to go to a provincial park and spend some more time this summer? And B, and B or two, I can't remember if I said A or anyway, what is your go-to provincial park? Where do you want to go this summer? to enjoy a nice, perhaps cold beer,
So
a nice
my
glass
first
of
question
white
to
wine.
First of all, I'll really starting out by saying that like I had no idea I was not allowed to drink beer in provincial.
that was my first question,
Jesus
Andrew.
Christ.
I was right there.
Like when they changed that rule, I was just like, well, I've been, like it's camping, man. Like,
Yeah, right?
Well, so I think on individual campsites you were allowed. I think they're talking about like I'll give you an example. I love hitting up the beaches. That's kind of what makes a summer vacation for me. So for me, something like a Pinery Provincial Park or a Sandbanks, previously you had to. I mean, people were doing it. Let's be honest. But previously, you had to put it into a different cup or I don't know. I'm just saying.
Paper
But
bag.
now you can go and just do it openly, obviously responsibly. We're not advocating for anyone to overdo it. Obviously, we're talking about responsible. We're talking about like a nice summer day. It'd be nice to have a cold beer or something. I'm just saying, for me, it's an added incentive to kind of go. And I'll say this: every time I travel, when I love going to Southern Europe. I go to Southern Europe. You can basically do anything you want. Not anything, but there's a more hands-off kind of reasonable approach. No one's overdoing it. Everyone's kind of just relaxing, enjoying it in the sun. I'm glad to see that we're kind of starting to treat Ontario more as adults when it comes to alcohol. I just hope people don't overdo it, because now they're like unleashed and they can do it.
I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. Like I said, it's like I think people are getting beers and they're going camping, and that's just what they're going to do.
Yes, but again, this is
I'm not like
individual campsites.
I'm definitely not like the portage and hiking kind of camper. I'm more of the drinking outside kind of camper, which is
things in the fire.
Of that. But yeah.
Okay,
we'll
so Andrew, what's your go-to park then? Where are you going to go this summer to enjoy a nice cold beer?
That's a really good question. It really depends on if is it too late, or all the campgrounds booked. Like it's coming up on April. I feel like it's always a fight to get a good campground.
If you could pick something now, where would you go?
I'd probably go down to Long Point. Something I've been typically I've been when I lived in Toronto, I used to go up to the Algonquin area and up into the Tobermory area. And now that I'm in Hamilton, I'm doing the Erie area ones, and I really liked Long Point. When I was there a couple of years ago, and I want to go back.
Is Long Point a provincial park?
It's not I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know. Is it?
I have no idea. It's not a federal park.
It's a national wildlife area.
Oh, national wildlife area. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
National. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
provincial. It is a provincial park.
Is it?
Okay, good.
Shore of Lake Erie near Port Rowan, Ontario. The park is a part of a sandy spit of land called Long Point that juts out into the lake.
Okay. So you could do that there, Andrew. For me, so it's funny. My go-to beach in Ontario is normally Port Stanley. I love Port Stanley, but that's not a provincial park. So I guess you still won't be able to drink there unless the municipality allows it, which they are able to do. I don't think they've allowed it there, though, that I'm aware of. It does get a bit rowdy there on the weekends, though. So I could see why they would not want.
Is Port Stanley what do you call it? Is it a federal park or a national park?
It's a municipal.
Oh, it's a municipal park. Okay.
Just like
I know. I was looking at some of the national parks for camping because they've extended the Canada Pass, and I was like, oh, maybe I should take advantage of that. But there's actually there's only a few options in the southern area of Ontario for national parks. It's camping is still mostly within the provincial parks down there.
I see. What about you, Jared?
I've already got my camping set up for Sandbanks in about a month.
Okay, nice. Maybe I'll see you there.
Maybe.
We can have a beer together on the beach, Jared.
There we go. And do it legally this time.
That's right.
One quick note about Long Point. Apparently, it is the fourth oldest provincial park in Ontario since 1921.
Oh, wow.
Excellent fishing and boating opportunities, and one of the largest bird and waterfowl migration and staging areas in North America, which means it's great for hunting.
Wow. Oh, gosh. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Well, this is just a reminder to all our listeners out there, take advantage of your provincial parks. Is that... was it free entry to provincial parks? Was that a thing like last year?
No, that was national parks. That was
national parks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take advantage of all of it anyway. Get out there, enjoy the warm weather while we have it, because in few short months, we're all going to be complaining about the cold and snow and rain all over again. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah. In the meantime, we'll just be complaining about the horseflies and the
Yeah, no one
and the
can
heat.
hot and anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. It was an excellent episode. There's a lot of good information out there. Ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a comment. We will definitely get back to you. Give us a like, subscribe, stay up to date with this stuff because everything is really good to know. Yeah, Good Roads is... we don't have anything really coming up until the winter.
What about road school?
Road school is in a week. There is not a lot of space left. TJ Mahoney, I know, has a little bit of room left. Actually, as of airing this, you probably have 1 week to register. So, TJ Mahoney, get your CRS and advance your skills in your career. Get in there now because you do not have a lot of time. We have a municipal pavement condition assessment and rehabilitation course on May 11th. That is actually very, very timely right now because just coming off winter and a very hard winter it wreaked havoc on our roadways. This course will teach you how to assess them and how to make sure that you're repairing them properly. So look into that, goodroads.ca/education. And until next week, everybody, take it easy.